lovingly as she places it in her baggage. She smiles proudly as she closes her bag and walks to the airport. After arriving in Chicago to begin her new career as a stylist, she is welcomed on the street by her closest friend Mel. Mel enthusiastically delivers Rosie her favorite coffee. She is overjoyed with her new venture and boasts about her certain success. Strolling to Rosie's new store, Mel discusses her abject failure in dating, stating that her last date purposefully left his wallet and forced her to pay for several rounds of mini golf. She states that unless she becomes wealthy, she will avoid dating for the time being. They come up to the shop and Mel squeals as she sees the name styling by Pink inside. She is impressed by the style and class of the shop. It's all in colors of soft white and various shades of tasteful reds and pink sta. Despite Mel's best efforts, Mel is happy for Rosie. Rosie is nervous about her business and worried that it will fail. She has everything set up except for some photos for her website. She wants to do them herself, but her friend laughs at her. She suggests that she hire her cousin Jackson, a professional photographer who is great at what he does. With a quick text, she notifies her cousin of their needs. Rosie looks at the blue dress and then the bright pink one. She chooses the pink one because it is more friendly and inviting. The woman thanks her and takes a flyer before heading off. It isn't long before Rosie gets her first phone call for an appointment. Dancing around her studio to some music, she doesn't notice an imposing woman coming into her shop. Once she does notice her, Rosie falls on the column. She was placing shoes on Val, says her secretary notified her about a new stylist in town and she wanted to check her out since she loves to stay ahead of the trends. If Rosie impresses her, Val will write a story about her store. Val says she loves what she's seen so far. The environment is warm, friendly, and modern without being pompous. Rosie gets Jackson's phone number and calls him. He says he can't hear her and asks to meet at Washington Park. As she approaches him, he asks her to stand still while he does some test shots of her. She tells him what she wants and he isn't surprised that she is in the fashion industry. Offended, she asks what he means and he says that with a name like Pink, she was bound to be in the arts. He shakes his head, as if he is insulted again, and she asks him what his true name is. He says it is simply Jackson Brooks, but with an X in it since his mother wanted him to be in the arts. She suggests the deal yet again. He refuses to perform 2 weeks worth of paid work of images of her at her business since he doesn't do fashion or candid shots. At this point, they both find each other annoying. He advises her to find someone else, and she storms out. Meanwhile, he receives a call from his employer Chase, and he pretends he can't hear Chase on the phone and begs him to call him back. Chase tells him that he didn't get the job with the magazine he wanted because the magazine said his shots weren't spontaneous enough. Chase warns Jackson that if he doesn't get any business soon, he will have to drop him because he hasn't made them any money in a while. Chase tells him of another job offer, but he needs to do some candid shots to get the job. Jackson looks down at the ground and notices Rosie's scarf next to his tripod. Rosie is finishing up paperwork when she hears the door open, calling out. She states that the store is closed. When she turns around, she notices Jackson with her scarf. She tells him to keep it with a smile. He says that it isn't his style. He says that the 2 weeks that he was busy just opened up and he can help her. He says that they can help each other and he can do the photos she wants, but it is too late for Rosie. Mel says she has a dinner date but doesn't know what it involves, so she's eating a donut. She complains about a date she had last month when she had to split a pizza with the guy and then grab tacos on the way home, and they're both appalled. Rosie's mother Fiona calls from their vacation in Florida, and they discuss her company. During the chat, she informs her mother that she has hired Mel's cousin to shoot her pictures. Mel is surprised because Rosie didn't tell her first. She hangs up the phone and heads to her shop, where Jackson is waiting for her. She shows him around the room, pointing out the different styles of clothes for different occasions and showing him where she will be meeting her clients, which she refers to as her comfy cozy corner with stylish chairs. She tells him about how different colors bring out different aspects of people depending on their skin tone and eyes. She pulls out a ring of cloth squares and tells him that he should wear more green to bring out the color of his eyes. Her first appointment arrives, and it is the woman she met on the street. She says she needs help finding an outfit for a job interview. Before she continues, Rosie interrupts her and asks if it is okay if Jackson takes photos of them for her website. Her name is Abby, and she is searching for the appropriate attire for the interview. They settle on comfortable recliners to talk about it more. Abby wants something smart and elegant. Rosie inquires as to what she generally wears on a daily basis. Abby has been a stay-at-home parent for the last 5 years, and most of her clothing have paint and baby stains on them. She confesses to feeling awful about returning to work and leaving her children at home. Rosie reminds her that it is normal and that many mothers feel the same way. When Rosie confronts Abby about what she likes and dislikes, she discovers that they both like mint chip frozen yogurt. Rosie takes little time at all to discover the exact pattern cloth for Abby as Jackson snaps photographs of her putting on garments. Abby is delighted with her purchases, and everyone had a good day. Jackson confesses that he was having a good time with it. Rosie's sole appointment today is with Abby, so they go out to do some street photographs, and he urges her to have fun with it. Rosie feels little in comparison to the large metropolis, and Jackson informs her that his father educated him. They discover that they both have an intuition when it comes to their work via photography. Rosie understands how to position people, and Jackson knows when to shoot a beautiful photograph. Rosie reveals that she learned about fashion from her grandmother, who had a sewing machine, and that all of the neighbors would come to her home to have their garments made and fixed. Flirt together over ice cream. Jackson carries his grandfather's bagel and orange juice to the bench he is sitting on and asks him why he isn't on his way to his poetry meeting, which is 3 blocks away and starts in 5 minutes. Grandpa declares that he will take the scenic way. Jackson is perplexed by his words, but as they go, he observes that they are on their way to Rosie's business, and he realizes what his grandpa is up to with a wide smile. His grandfather strolls up the stairs to the main area of the store. Rosie accidentally scares him when she says hello. Jackson introduces him as his grandpa Wilbur. Wilbur is excited to meet her and is curious about what she does. He thinks she is just a fashionista, but she corrects him and tells him about her job. He enjoys meeting her and waves goodbye as he leaves for his poetry meet. Her next client has confidence issues and wants to step into the dating world. She informs him that blue is his favorite color and that he looks great in his new attire. He likes the new appearance. He compares himself to Clark Kent and glances at his phone when he receives a notice that Kimmy is matched with him on the dating app that he has. He claims that he isn't good with words and requests additional help. Rosie and Jackson walk outside to take more photographs. As they browse over them, Chase contacts Jackson and informs him that he has to provide the images by tomorrow in order to maintain Jackson as a customer. They travel to the lake to shoot some more shots, which is one of Jackson's favorite places. Rosie suggests that she may have to take his happy spot back at the store. Jackson brings Rosie some food and tells her that she needs to eat. He picks up a flyer and notices that it is for her official launch party. He had no idea she was having one. She says that she is just finishing up sending out invites to some schools and businesses. He believes she is afraid that no one will attend and that her business will fail. A lady enters, gasping for oxygen, and asks for Rosie Pink. She has been named the worst dressed woman in a magazine called Frenzy MM, and she needs assistance choosing comfortable and attractive clothing. Rosie grins and brings over a rack of garments. She puts on some of them and is delighted with her selections. They go on an unofficial date around the corner at a pizza joint. He says that she never answered the earlier question. She says that she felt stuck in her hometown and wanted to change. He felt the same when he was living with his college friends. He tries to see if she is single, and she asks the same question. Alluding to an earlier conversation where he was called a leading online dating expert, he says that he is focusing more on his work than Mel sends Rosie some cold coffee the following morning because she wants to prioritize relationships above beginning her salon. Val pays another visit because she spotted her outfit online and wants to showcase her business. She also wants Rosie to style her for her magazine. Rosie is overjoyed for one of the girls she dressed. She has had several job offers and appreciates what Rosie did for her. Jackson, on the other hand, refuses to accept that he enjoys doing model photos. Jackson asks Rosie to join him and his grandfather for Chinese takeout. Wilbur enjoys hearing Rosie speak about her favorite components of her profession. Wilbur has a new neighbor. Irene arrives at the door with a platter of small muffins. Rosie watches them vibing. She and Wilbur flirt endlessly before she departs to go home. Rosie is instantly on them and questions Wilbur about her. Wilbur speaks about how he has been wanting to ask her out but loses his courage. Wilbur talks about how he has been wanting to ask her out but loses his nerve. Rosie gives him a free makeover to boost his self-esteem. Rosie examines Jackson's photographs, which are displayed on his grandpa's walls. Jackson explains why he needs to do the shots, and Rosie is excited at the prospect of his obtaining the job. He adds that if he gets the position, he will be on the road for a few weeks at a time. Rosie offers to have his images displayed in her store for the inaugural event because she wants to see him flourish. Mel informs Rosie that she cheated on Jackson last night, and she claims that Rosie constantly does this with males she loves. Mel joked that the love of her life could visit her salon for a manicure. Val contacts Rosie and asks if she would want to freelance for her on a regular basis. She would accommodate her business demands, and she provides a brief tour of the magazine. Studio Val persuades her to work part-time for her with couture outfits. According to Jackson technicians, Wilbur does not want to participate in the free makeover. She goes to Wilbur's residence to get him to speak to Irene. She boosts his confidence and makes him seem handsome. He reads the poetry he penned for Irene, which Jackson and Rosie enjoy back at the studio. Jackson and Rosie discuss a piece that he is hanging on the wall. Rosie comments on how beautiful the photo is, and Jackson says that she was an extraordinary woman to work with, that she was beautiful on the inside and out. Rosie informs him that she had accepted a part-time stylist position with the magazine. When Jackson asks whether she intends to maintain the studio, She tells him that she would not give up the studio for anything right now. Derek walks in, having already had a makeover. He is quite flustered and begs for her assistance again. He claims that his date with Kimmy didn't go well and that he doesn't know what to do. When Vibe comes in, Rosie interjects and invites him to pizza with them. They hit it off right away at the restaurant, and Rosie pulls Jackson aside so they can chat. Jackson has no clue what is going on until Rosie reveals her intentions to him. Before they can return to their seats, Jackson's phone rings. Wilbur discusses how beautifully his poetry was received, but he is now even more apprehensive because he fears he will ramble and say the wrong thing. He wants Jackson and Rosie to accompany him on his date to ensure that he does not embarrass himself. On the side, Jackson teases with Rosie that his grandfather can say the wrong thing. Wilbur hopes they will be available to accompany him on his date tomorrow. Wilbur grabs Irene's jacket and she says that this is her favorite song. The date is in front of a fountain in a park. There is old-fashioned swing music playing and many couples are dancing to it. Wilbur thrusts her jacket into Jackson's grasp, and the two go to the fountain to dance. Rosie loves the dating concept. Jackson has never seen his grandpa dance so confidently. They joke that they can't dance like them. They know it will be a disaster, but decide to dance anyway right as the song ends and a slow one comes on. They start slow dancing and Jackson asks if he can donate one of her photos for an auction. The auction is for one of the youth clubs that he volunteers at. Someone from the magazine he wants to work it will be there. Val wants her to come down to the office right immediately to meet the person she will be working with. Rosie requests a reschedule, and Val responds that it is unlikely that this was the last time she could get them to meet before the shoot. Rosie confirms her attendance and requests that Jackson apologize to Wilbur for her presence in the studio. Rosie makes a good first impression on the photographer. He wants to do something avant-garde for the photographs, and she provides many ideas that he loves. Val believes that the picture compositions need more edge. Rosie has the perfect solution, a soft scarf. Val admires Rosie's efforts and informs her that the clothing she is now admiring are all from prior shoots. Val says she can bring them to her studio. Rosie is astounded. She loves all of the clothing she gets to take home. She is fashionable. Heaven Jackson is roaming around a park when he receives a call from Chase. Angry at the state of affairs, he barks at Chase, hoping for good news. Chase tells him that, for once, there is good news. The magazine he wants to work for likes his images, and he has landed the interview. Chase tells him that he must impress them at the charity function tomorrow. Jackson is overjoyed at the store. Rosie is having a great time sorting her new clothing on the rack when a lady walks in with a dozen pink roses to give. Attached to the roses is a message from Abby that is a thank you card because she got the job. She refers to Rosie as her fairy godmother. Rosie likes the note and the roses. Mel gushes over Derek to Rosie, saying she can't stop talking about how beautiful he is and how she knows Rosie arranged them up. They're going on another date tonight to see a movie. Mel offers to assist with the preparations for the launch party at another shoot. Val calls Rosie over because she needs the hemline of the model's dress altered and the photographer wants the dress tighter on the model. Rosie says she can, but it will have to be tomorrow since she has to be at Jackson's charity event in 30 minutes. Val says she had to cancel since the photographer is leaving tomorrow and it has to be completed tonight. Rosie calls Jackson and quietly informs him that she will be unable to attend the event. She is unhappy that she will be unable to go. Jackson has also stated that she will not be able to attend. She tells him to let her know how it goes and hangs up later that night while she is fixing the dress. She can't help but feel saddened by the way things are. The next day she is helping a customer when she receives another call from Val, who wants her to book 3 more days for her. The photographer also wants to see her during lunch today. Rosie says she can't because she has a full day of customer appointments today and needs to prepare for her shop's grand opening. She reluctantly agrees to assist the photographer with his emergency photo shoot back at the shop. She receives another call from the magazine asking if she can fly out of state for a shoot for several days. She says she can't be away from the shop for that long. She sees Jackson with his photos and asks him to place them in the BAC. Jackson informs Rosie about his interview with the magazine he wants to work for, and the two promise to hang out more at a birthday party later tonight. Jackson visits his grandfather, who informs him that just because they are friends does not imply that Rosie is comfortable with his leaving. He arrives at 8:30 a.m. to pick her up for the birthday celebration, and she is still working. She admits that she is overworked and under pressure. Jackson questions why she is letting Val run her ragged. He says she doesn't need Val to be successful, and it doesn't even make her happy that what she does in her stories is enough. He says she is neglecting the people who care about her. She responds that if he worked as hard as she does, he wouldn't be taking photos of people in the park the next day. She quits working for Val because she misses styling people and working in her studio. Val says that while she is disappointed, she admires her honesty and tells her to follow her passion. She says that going through the photos Jackson left for her brings up the awful things she said to him the night before. She tries calling him, but he doesn't answer. She repeatedly calls him hoping to apologize. Mel enjoys what she's done with the store for the opening, and he tells her she has to tell him how she feels about him. Mel can tell that they both have feelings for each other. The launch goes off without a hitch, and many of the people she has helped have shown up to support her. Wilbur shows up and tells her not to worry. Jackson will be here once he realizes what he is missing out on. Rosie talks about how she has wanted to be a stylist since she was a child, and she credits Mel and her grandmother for her success. Jackson interrupts her speech and says she has to thank one more person. He says he has been there for her many times and apologizes for not being there when he needed her the most. Jackson feels compelled to comment, stating that, although Rosie may just be a personal stylist, she works hard to help others see the best side of themselves. Jackson claims that he has no idea what the future holds for him, but that he must take one more chance. After saying this, he approaches her and kisses her in front of the audience. As they kiss, the audience applauds loudly.